Hey there, this is Amelia here. Welcome to Amelia's crossdressing story. Today we are going to share a story called Never Wanted to Be a Girl Part 11. By Teddy. For more interesting and exclusive stories, please subscribe to my channel and support me at Patreon. When she opened her eyes, she stared at herself for at least a minute and softly hugged me as tears leaked out. You mean I don't have to pretend I'm a girl any longer? Not here, and not when you're dressed up and with us. You need to work with Dr. Nagel about how you will go to school. Can you live with pretending to be a boy at school until you learn how to be a girl? I think so, but I don't ever again want to be something I'm not. I wiped off her tears, and a couple of mine that somehow had appeared, and escorted her down to dinner. At Tia's suggestion, after we had managed out homework, I spent the night with Ariel. It was a good, warm feeling to watch her as she put on her own panties and nightgown, and hugged herself. She was asleep, holding on to the stuffed animal before I climbed in next to her. By the Wednesday night, she was fine sleeping alone, and her face was beginning to look a lot better. Which meant that Tia and I could do some much-needed snuggling of our own. Tia's mom took the week off work, and kept an eye on her. When we got home Thursday, Ariel was bouncing and happy as she showed us her newly pierced ears. Tia's mom said that Dr. Nagel believed Ariel, which she was now calling the little boy girl, should probably go back to school as a girl, and was already setting the paperwork mill in motion. It's going to be hard for her, but if she survived the awful treatment she received from her biological parents, the worst she will encounter at school will be easy. Tia and I agreed. Mom and Dad seemed impressed with how I was handling things, but remarked that they were suffering empty house syndrome. So we promised that we would be moving back into my room in the near future. On Saturday morning, Tia's dad picked up Jill at the hospital and brought her home. She looked sad, but seemed to perk up when she saw her in Tia's room. When we had some private time, we asked, and she explained that even as mean as her parents had been to her, they were her parents and she felt lonely. So I wound up spending the weekend sleeping with Ariel and Tia stayed with Jill, which seemed to help her a lot. Going back to school on Monday was traumatic for everyone. Jill's friends swamped her with sympathy, and others with stupid questions. I took the day off and accompanied Ariel to her grade school, where Mr. Allen and Dr. Nagel paved the way for her returning as a girl. Her teachers seemed to be okay with the change, and the kids that gave her a hard time had to survive both me and the principal. I think I was scarier. But when the day was over, Ariel said she was the happiest she had ever been and would be okay on her own. So it was back to high school for me. Jill had some real problems with depression for a couple of months and wound up on medication. But she slowly got her life together and soon was able to quit taking the happy pills and get on with her life. She was really a good kid, much less, well, sharp than Tia. But Tia's mom was really happy that she had a new daughter, and Tia liked having a sister, even if she only saw her occasionally. Ariel was another matter. She was all energy and happiness at being able to be herself. At school, she got beat up a couple of times, and was teased unmercifully, but always came home smiling though the tears. She said that being a girl was worth any price. It sort of sounded like my being able to walk being so important in my deciding to become a girl. So we shared some tears and hugs. And like any kid who was different, as time went on she was less noticed as the boy who became a girl and was accepted by a lot of kids as Ariel. Their parents never went to trial. They took a plea bargain that canceled all their parental rights and gave them a sentence of 10 years each. All of their assets were sold and the money put in a trust account for Jill and Ariel's future. I continued to grow. Tia now was my permanent roommate, which made logistics a lot simpler. And really increased our together time. At Christmas I was almost 6 feet tall without my new boots, and had what everyone called an athletic figure. Which meant I was still a bit flat, and had too much muscle. But Tia had also done some growing, and was now really soft and curvy. We spent Christmas Eve at Tia's with her new siblings, along with her brother and family. Jody, Monty, and Chuck, and Jeremiah all joined us for Christmas dinner at our house. And slugged Chuck when he almost tripped watching Tia. I was no longer seeing Dr. Nagel. Tia and I were inseparable, and I was happy with myself. I guess it was strange, but Dr. Nagel said I was really one of the lucky ones. My parents didn't throw me out and were trying to accept me for who I was, and I had found a place for myself in school, with friends that didn't care what I was under my clothes. So I had a lot of things to be thankful for over the holidays. In late January, Dr. Nagel obtained permission from the court that oversees foster children to start Ariel on her medical way to being a girl. As young as she was, the endocrinologist said she would develop fully as a girl, with much of the proper bone structure and everything. Ariel was looking forward to when she could start dating boys, which raised several eyebrows and became a major topic between her and Dr. Nagel. I guess she wasn't really gay, since girls normally did want to go out with boys. And she was a girl, regardless of her shell. By the beginning of our senior year, I had quit growing. Tia was a bombshell in a compact package. I was the tall, dark and muscular type. I never did get big on top, but good God they were sensitive. And I think Tia knew every nerve ending. Personally, the biggest problem we had during our senior year was the way we now looked. Tia was attracting boys like a magnet. She's really stacked and looks a lot like the old pictures of Lonnie Anderson if Lonnie was only 5'4" with the same measurements. And had long brown hair. I looked like a female volleyball player who was into weightlifting. But I felt like a tall guy with long hair and small breasts. The hormones, according to the endocrinologist, did what they were supposed to do. Dad said his family were known as late bloomers. But Dad was only 5'10" and fairly thin. Mom's father's family apparently had some big, tall women way back when. So that must be where I got the weird genes. I would have liked staying a twin to Tia, although I was not sure I wanted to have to look around my breasts to see my feet. But at 6'1", measured at my heel, and almost 165, much of it muscle, I thought I no longer looked feminine. And I wanted to look feminine. Tia said she was perfectly happy with my appearance, and started calling me her Princess Charming. Our friends said I had turned out awesome. But it still bothered me. The main reason I didn't get really depressed was I was too busy. Tia and I were both competing for admission to a couple of really good universities. Which meant that our final grades and admission testing were really important. And we were taking mostly advanced placement courses. Both sets of parents made us take 2 days off during spring break and party with our friends. We didn't argue loudly. And took a 3rd day to recover from the partying. Dad finally helped me pull my head out. Samantha, quit complaining that you no longer look like a girl. Because you no longer are a girl. I almost dropped my soda on the carpet. You look like a tall, happy young woman who is in charge of her life. I gawked at him. Compliments on my appearance were not something he provided. And damn it, you are a young woman. I didn't want to admit it, but you're my daughter now, and I'm proud of you. He held me when I started to cry. But you said you could never accept. Never is a long time. I still get some pangs that I won't have a son to watch as he finishes growing to be a man. He held me at arm's length. But you sure make a pretty sight as you grow to be a woman. That got us both crying. I made quite a sight at graduation. Since my feet had grown as fast as me, I was now wearing over 7-inch heels. So I towered above my classmates as I, in my almost patented and most sensual strut, went up the stairs and across the stage to collect my diploma. Tia was wearing her highest heels, so even in the shapeless robes her bounce, jiggle, and wiggle got a lot of whistles. Including mine. Afterwards, it was party time. I was now a really good dancer, and so was Tia. So we took a chunk of the floor and almost got tossed out of the dance for excessive body contact. By the time we got home, we were thoroughly mussed, and even more thoroughly exhausted. And I guess I looked plenty feminine to the guys from our class. I had to fight them off in droves. Tia had a similar problem. We agreed it was wonderful. We are packing to leave for college. Mom is complaining about having empty nest syndrome. Dad says he is really looking forward to the peace and quiet. Tia's parents have told Mom they are willing to loan her Jill and Ariel for a few months. The university had some real problems with our rooming together, since I am still legally male, but we solved that by getting an apartment off campus. Having the insurance money did help happiness along a bit. It turned out that we both earned complete scholarships, so our accounts are in really good shape. Tia finally decided to study engineering, and I'm working on a pre-med plan with a specialty goal of abnormal psychology. I want to learn about kids like me and Ariel, and how to help them. That's all for now. See you in the next video. For more interesting stories, please subscribe to our channel, and for exclusive content, please join us on Patreon. Link in the comment.